Hello and welcome. The city I will be visiting in this video is called Ningbo. And also the reason why I sound a little bit weak is because I have a sore throat. But my ability to make excuses is not as good as it used to be. So I'll be recording this video anyways. So it's been a long time since I traveled alone, and this is actually something I've been really looking forward to. So Ningbo is a city with a population of around 9 million, so it is a big city. And I got here by taking the train from Shanghai, which took 2 hours. So the plan is that I'm going to visit the city's most famous places, and then I'm also going to share my thoughts on traveling along the way. And our first destination is gonna be Ningbo's riverside. And most of the time when it comes to this riverside, it's usually just one river in the middle and then you can walk on each side. But here it's a little bit different. Here it's 2 rivers that meet in the middle. So you got this very nice 3-way river cross-section, I think you can call it. And this is the first time I see it in a city, and I like it very much. And of course there are a couple of parks and tall buildings besides the rivers. And from here you can also see this city's most famous bridge. Okay, let's go to the next place. And I think this is that big city life many people desire these days. I think it's pretty nice. The second place will be Ningbo's drum tower. And I got some information about drum towers for you here. So drum towers were used to keep time and signal important events within the city. That's why they are quite tall, so everyone can hear the drum. And I can confirm it is quite tall, not too tall. And here you can also walk inside, and inside it's probably gonna have a lot of traditional Chinese buildings. We are gonna walk inside now. I'm now walking inside. And now I have successfully made it inside. Here is how it looks. Okay, so I found myself a nice place to sit and record. So I want to talk a little bit about traveling alone versus together with others in this video. First of all, I think it's much more enjoyable to travel together with others compared to traveling alone. However, there are some benefits of traveling alone and also when making these kinds of videos. I think the biggest benefit of traveling alone is that you have complete control of the day and also that you don't need to worry about how others feel. My girlfriend has joined me in some of the videos, and of course I'm very grateful for that. However, I always need to think about how she is feeling. For example, maybe she's tired, and if she is, then that becomes the priority. And when making a video, I always plan out all the places I want to visit in exact order. And it can be that I need to change the order because my planning was wrong. And as a result, we need to work a lot more extra. It's then easy to get into small arguments, which can affect the mood, which for some people can be difficult to recover from. I don't belong to those people. If I were to ever get into a bad mood, I can recover very fast. The way I do it is, I ask myself, is being in a bad mood gonna help me? And if it's not, then I just stop. Okay, either way, let's go to the next place. The next destination is gonna be Tianyi Square, and I think this is also the city centrum. And I really like these squares in China, probably one of my favorite things to visit. And the reason for that is because it's very open, it's always very clean, it has some tall buildings and some shopping centers around it. And it also has a lot of benches to sit on. If there is a big square, then I will visit it, and as a result, I will be happy. It got very hot, so I found myself a very nice table to sit at. Okay, next I want to share my top 3 benefits of traveling alone. And the first reason is that it is good for growth, because when traveling alone, it's gonna be a bit challenging and uncomfortable, which is gonna force you to solve problems. which is good for building confidence. Since confidence is built by overcoming challenging and difficult things. And being uncomfortable is also good for revealing insecurities, and then you can start working on them. It's also gonna force you to plan and do research online. For example, I think it's always a small challenge to figure out the public transport system at a new city. Second good thing about traveling alone is that it's gonna allow you to reflect on life. Traveling is gonna get rid of a lot of our distractions that we normally have in our environment, which triggers the same thoughts and behaviors. By changing our environment, it's gonna allow us to start thinking new thoughts. I personally like to just remove all distractions so I can be alone with my thoughts and just think. Another thing that traveling does is that it's gonna show you how other people have it, which can make you more grateful for the things you already have. I'll give you an example. So I like to sleep in a very dark room, and some of the hotels I normally stay at don't have very dark rooms, which makes me so much more grateful for my room at home. The third reason is that it will leave you with good stories, and as a result you become a more interesting person. For example, if you're dating, especially if you're a guy, I don't think it's very impressive or attractive if you have more or less been in the same city your whole life and never really left home. Okay, that's all I have on reasons to travel alone. Let's go to the next place. The next destination is gonna be one of the city's nicest park. Perhaps even the nicest park, called Moon Lake Park. And here they have this small lake in the middle with a lot of nice plants and traditional buildings surrounding it. It's also very good air quality today since it rained yesterday. Okay, I think this is definitely a very nice park. And I think this is a great moment to just walk around and relax and maybe put that phone away. Speaking of the phone, I think there is a big phone addiction problem here in China. I thought that the phone addiction problem in Sweden was bad, but it is nothing compared to here in China. I searched online and it says that the average time a person spends on their phone is 5 hours per day, and they pick it up around 160 times. So total time wasted is probably even more, since every time you pick it up, it takes time to get back to the task you were doing. And based on my observation, the favorite things Chinese people like to do on their phone is social media, gaming and shopping. Either way, my screen time here in China is around 1 hour per day. Next, I will visit a couple of traditional Chinese buildings and I will just bike between them and record a little bit. Not really my expertise, so don't think I have anything useful to say. So that was a lot of traditional Chinese buildings, and I spent almost 2 hours visiting all of those. I think it was overall very nice, but I have definitely had enough of them now. One more and I would have lost my mind. So I'm back by the river now, and I want to wrap up what I have to say about traveling. So there are two ways you can travel. Either alone or not alone. And I have done both, and my preference is to not travel alone. Although the only time I would prefer not to travel alone would be if my goal was to see as many things as possible. Because there is a trade-off between amount of people and speed. The more people you are, the slower you move. But let me tell you this. When traveling alone, I always felt a little bit empty. And I remember always feeling a little bit unfulfilled when I got back to the hotel. And I know there are people who say that traveling alone is very nice, but I don't agree with that. In my experience, when traveling alone, it was always that I just walked between the destinations and then just looked at things. And then I had no one to talk to, which was a little bit lonely. And afterwards, I just went back to the hotel and was all unproductive. I think traveling with someone or with people you like is just so much better. It's just nice to have someone to talk with, and at the end of the day, being able to reflect on what has happened. Of course, you can still travel alone when together. For example, you can travel alone during the morning and then together in the evening. But I think that everyone should at least travel alone once. So I'm currently staying at my grandparents' place, which is located around 1 hour away from this city. Before going back, I'm going to stare at this river some more. I wish you the best and thank you so much for watching.